Oh, I'm not surprised that you just made the man who did two Nazi high Hitler salutes at our United States of America inauguration after party. And then you want to argue with me when I say the Nazi Party, aka the Republican Party, is running the country and trying to take ownership of the country. You know, the Nazis, Hitler and his fledglings, his flying monkeys, were very rich. How do you think they made the war machine that they created to take over Europe, Africa, and tried for Russia? That was a very expensive machine, and they were able to do it. So you just cheapened the whole idea of being a trillionaire, making it something completely horrible. And, it's just the people that invested into us today deserve to lose every single penny they invested. And if you have a pension fund or a 401k that has Musk stock, you need to dump it and put Musk where he belongs, on the street. And look, Bezos. I don't know Bezos, and I don't know that he's a bad guy or a good guy, uh, but he's not a Musk. And the difference why I'm bringing this up is because Bezos doesn't own a very big percentage of Amazon. He had to give it away to create Amazon. He had to give it to investors that helped him create what we now know as Amazon. Well, Musk, on the other hand, had emerald mines in Africa, and he didn't have to give away his ownership to investors because he was the investor. And he had money from PayPal and other endeavors. So he didn't give away a huge percentage of his ownership, which is why he's a trillionaire now, because he did the same thing with SpaceX and the same thing with X, Twitter, or X.com. Uh, he doesn't have to play to the investors. Yes, investors are a big part of his whole organization. No doubt, you can't have an organization like that and not have investors be a big part in it. But the world between Bezos and Musk is very different. And I'm not saying, but it doesn't make Musk a good businessman. It makes him lucky in starting life out with an emerald mine. I mean, I don't know how many people are listening to this, but I think if you started with an emerald mine, you'd be doing pretty well right now. Uh, you know, and he's South African, you know, and that's problematic right there. Uh, he was brought up in apartheid, believes in apartheid. He just weaponized the most richest man in the world, and don't think he's going to do good with it. He doesn't have any hospitals, schools. He doesn't give away any of his money. He fired people that were making $30, $40 an hour and said they were making too much, and they were fleecing America. Meanwhile, he was getting billions, 20 billion or more in government contracts. We're doing nothing. So, and his AI grok, whatever you want to call that shit, it's going to be a nightmare if it takes off at all. Um, the one thing Musk has a negative on it, he's spreading himself really thin. He's got his foot into a lot of games, and he can't win them all. And you know, Tesla is really not a good company. The Tesla car is really not a good car. Tesla, oh my God, the Cybertruck, that's a nightmare beyond all nightmares. And you're an idiot if you own one or even be a passenger in one. I would never. I'd rather walk. But China makes a much better electric car, a lot cheaper electric car, um, with AI or with self-driving. That's a lot better than Tesla ever did. Tesla kind of gave up on the self-driving. The Tesla trucks, the semis, they're a piece of crap too. That's why you don't see them on the road, and you probably never will. Their batteries, where they make their batteries, is extremely problematic. They don't last. You can't get rid of them once you have one. It's very costly to replace one if you need to. It's not part of the warranty. Um, there's just a myriad of problems when it comes to him and his companies. He's no different than Trump. Trump, from Trump Water to Trump Steaks to Trump University, they were all scams. They were all grifts. And he's grifting America like crazy. The USC thing, he was owner of Atlantic City. Atlantic City made UFC. He's in bed. UFC is the mob, first off. And he's in bed with the mob. He owns stock in the UFC. He's in bed with the mob, and you can see it right on the front lawn of the White House. And, you know, how you people are so stupid to let all this happen right under your nose and act like it's a good thing, because all this is going to come back to bite you in the ass, you know. Well, he made a rocket for $1 trillion. Uh, you know, NASA put the space station in outer space, and it didn't cost $1 trillion. Maybe the space station itself did, but getting it there didn't. you know, and NASA was a government company, which SpaceX is too, and that's the problem because it's part government, part private. Yeah, they don't say it's government because they don't want, if something bad happens, they don't want the stink off of it. But there's no way you can work out of space and not be involved with the government, and satellite installation out of space and not be involved with the government. And he's probably involved with many governments, not just the United States. So he just made the Nazi salute guy the world's first